and which is mainly the contribution or the main services of this DDMS is for port forwarding or on device screen sharing or capturing on device thread, heap monitoring, radio state information. So all these certain services which will be provided by this DDMS, right? And usually whenever you face any sort of errors or bugs, such things you can visualize by means of a logcat feature which is available in this, right? I'll show you. uh, I'll take the simple example here. So this application, whenever you run, if you have any error or any sort of things, you'll get one status bar at the end showing all the errors, and at the end you can find logcat one information. Is it visible to you all? Logcat sixth one, it shows the logcat information. It shows each and every state of this particular application, right? So what are the here it shows some red line stating that error opening kernel and permission denied and so on. So like that, each and every log information is going to be generated by this logcat, right? So such monitoring done by means of this DDMS tool, right? There is a feature added here. We can visualize all those information, whether the application is working fine or not, what the error exactly. It shows each and every information. It generates a log file where you can see each and every information. So it is also known as emulator control and simulate phone calls, activities and so on. And usually we may visualize or simulate at the time of GPRS or Edge or some other areas. And this debugging tool can be integrated along with IDE by means of ADT whenever you are using Eclipse software. So it comes automatically along with SDK file. So we may find this ADT information inside this. So this is a simple information regarding DDMS, and we will work based on this whenever you are facing errors and how we are going to be visualized and log information and everything. And Gradle, one more information. So Gradle is a build system. ఇది కూడా కొన్నిసార్లు అడుగుతుంటాం వాట్ ఈజ్ ద గ్రేడిల్ అని. is a build system which is used to build automatic building of the entire project, like generating, I mean, basic step from Java XML files onwards. It builds entire information, entire project into a one file, that is APK file. That things done automatically all together by means of Gradle service. So it's a one service. So whenever you just compile the code, I'll show you. So whenever you just start compiling the code, the system will give you one information stating Gradle is running like this at the bottom. It shows one information stating that Gradle is running, and it shows everything, and it takes the XML file which is a design. మనం డిజైన్ చేసిన XML file ni, and what are the actions you are supposed to mention inside Java file. All these information and also the layout information. Is there any layout you are mentioning, or you there any values, and everything are going to be grouped together and build one file with the name of APK file. So that file which is used to deploy in your mobiles and which is used to run our applications. That entire process is going to be done by means of Gradle. Am I clear? Is my voice
Yes.
reaching to you or not?
Yes, sir.
So usually in Java, in Android, usually we are having two things. One is we need to design one application which is fitted on a mobile, in a battery operated device like mobiles. So we need to focus on how much area you are using, what type of mobile you are using, whether you are putting vertically or horizontally. So based on that, we need to focus, we need to design what are the controls you are supposed to visualize on the screen. That comes under XML form. So you may design manually or graphically, you just drag and drop the picture, or you may do the same by means of XML code. These are two way possible here. You may design either by means of graphically, just drag and drop the buttons, text box, labels, check boxes, everything, whatever. If you are good at HTML, almost the same here also. But if you are good at writing code, you may do the same by means of adding the tags. Here I am going to add one label with the name of text view. Here I am going to add one text box with the name of edit text here, and one button is added here like that. You may write the code, vice versa. If you write the code, the system will give the designs. If you drag and drop, the system will give you the text code, right? So it is having both ways. So once it is done, we may go for Java file, which is defined inside Java in the form of a package. Wherever you define the package inside, you can find the activity Java file. That Java file will have all the actions, what the things we are doing with that particular controls. We define one text box and one button. So what are the things you are supposed to do with that text box and button? Those things will be defined inside Java file. So the design will be there in XML, the actions will be there inside Java file. Those two things will run together and gives one final product as output, that is we can generate by means of APK. That things done by means of this Gradle. Take the Java file, XML file all together and it converts into one file, that is APK file, which will be deployed directly on our mobiles. Right? So whenever you are downloading any Android application, that comes in the form of .apk file. The system will ask you whether you want to install. If you say yes, it will be installed on your mobile, right? That's the things. So usually the Gradle will have two types. One is the top level and the module level, right? So we will discuss again those things later. Just remember what is the Gradle and just top level and module level. We are having two types of Gradles, and well, moving to the next one. It is also come along with the SDK itself. Next, one more theoretical representation, and whenever you are in the lab itself, I'll show you practically what is exactly the ADB, how it works. But everybody knows what exactly the ADB is. So Android Debug Bridge. So here it is a simple application which is used to connect one Android device to the system by means of USB cable or wireless. I think everybody knows what exactly happening here. Usually you are connecting your mobile to the system by means of USB cable. Yes or no? Every student will have a habit to connect their mobiles to the system by means of USB cable, or sometimes you may connect by means of wireless applications like enabling your hotspot or something else, and you are just connecting those two things. Yeah, one. Okay, ma. Any doubts so far? My voice reaching to you or not?
Yes, sir, audible, sir.
Can anyone unmute and say hello?
Sir,
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
మా వాయిస్ రీచ్ అవుతుందా లేదా ఏం పలకడం లేదు ఎవరు?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So this are done usually by means of every person they are going to connect by means of USB cable, or sometimes they may connect with Bluetooth or Wi-Fi through wireless mode. But here in our syllabus we are having some command oriented tools like ADB. So usually this is going to be connected to the system or by means of this USB cable. Usually the examples are smartphones or tablets or watches, set-top boxes, any other device that may run Android application or Android operating system, which are going to be communicate with the uh, system by means of these what you can say USB cable or wireless. Usually this can be categorized into three ways. ఇది మీరు కొంచెం గుర్తుపెట్టుకోండి అమ్మా. It is theoretical representation and we can demonstrate whenever we come to the college by means of this ADB. So whenever you are making this ADB, Android debug bridge, so it's a client server model. It looks like a client server model. There we can find one is a client, another one is a one server, daemon server, a background server, another one is a server, right? So client is the computer, or you are going to connect by means of this with your Android device. It's from this computer that we are sending commands to our device. So using that you are sending the commands to our device, whether what you are supposed to do. Now the computer acting as a client. Now your mobile act as a server, and whatever the commands you are supposed to send, those commands are going to be accepted by the system or by your mobile and acts based on. And the next one is AD. ఇది కొంచెం గుర్తుపెట్టుకున్నామా, ఏడి బీడి అని అప్పుడప్పుడు అడుగుతుంటారు దీన్ని. ఆండ్రాయిడ్ డీబగ్ బ్రిడ్జ్ అండ్ ఫాలోడ్ బై డేమన్. డేమన్ సర్వీసెస్ అని మీరు ఓఎస్లో చదివింటారు. విచ్ ఈస్ అ బ్యాక్గ్రౌండ్ సర్వీస్ which is having high priority one and which is currently running on both computer as well as your Android device, which accepts and executes the command, right? So ఇక్కడ ఈ background process ఏం చేస్తుంటే which will be run either run in both client and server, and which will accept all the commands given by the client and will be executed by the server. So whatever the command issued by the system or computer, that should be listened by the mobile and runs for us. Right, so here it is acting, the computer is acting as a client and our mobile acting as a server. In between we are having one interface that acts as a ADBD, which is Android debug bridge daemon service, which will be run in both and accept all the commands given by the system or client and executed by the server. So here this is a piece of software that actually manages and communication between the client and the daemon service. Right, so we'll see a simple example here, and it looks like this. Whenever you run this ADB, it opens a command prompt and stating that all the information. So whenever you open this ADB, it opens appropriate directory where exactly there inside, and there you can type the command. All commands are preceded with ADB and followed by the command name. But don't confuse, it is there in our syllabus. We need to learn all these things, but nowadays it is very sophisticated. Whenever you connect the mobile or anything to the system will automatically connected by means of a plug and play, and we can make use of anything. Right, so the same thing done by means of this. So whenever you run the command ADB followed by devices, which will give you all the devices which are connected to the system. It gives a list of all the devices which are connected to the system or connected to the computer, and it comes over here and it is waiting for the command. For example, if you want to kill any service, we use kill server. If you want to install any application, we use ADB followed by install. ప్రతి కమాండ్కి ముందు ఏడీబీ ఉంటుంది చూడండి. ఇది కొన్నిసార్లు ఎగ్జామ్లో అడుగుతుంటారమ్మా, రైట్ అబౌట్ ఏడీబీ. సో ట్రై టు రిమెంబర్ అట్లీస్ట్ 4 or 5 commands. Whether you want to kill a server, whether you want to print all the list of connected devices, we use this. And if you want to install any application, use install and so on. Okay, Nama, if you want to copy a file from a directory, use pull. If you want to copy a file from the device to that, we use push. Whether you want to run any commands, use shell. So these are the low level commands. We try to remember all these things and we need to reproduce all based on the question. So this is there in our syllabus. So, okay, once you enter into the college and at the time of lab, I'll explain all these things again practically. And some more information which is represented in the form of picture. You please go through all those things. It is in the form of Linux version. It shows hash prompt and shows all the information. And we can move one directory to another directory and so on. And we can create some directories, everything. So all these directory structures will be available in your mobile. Please mute. Amma, please mute. This is a simple information. Don't confuse. It's a very simple thing. Only thing is we need one application with the name of ADB, which will come automatically along with your SDK file, Android SDK file. We need to find where it is, and in that we need to run the applications. It is just opens in a command mode, and where you can type the commands. But before typing the commands, we should ensure that your mobile is connected properly or not to the system. So those are the steps we need to take care of. So how you are going to be install ADB? ఇవి కొంచెం చూడండి అమ్మా, it's a very simple thing, and don't do without any proper idea. And whenever you just enable this, that particular your mobile will turn into debugging mode. Okay, Namma? Am I clear? So you take your mobile and go to the settings. Inside settings you can find about phone. One tab will be there, about phone. Inside about phone you choose appropriate version, and we need to find where the build number is available. It looks like this. So inside about phone we can find build number. ఇది మనకు కనబడుతుందమ్మా. On this particular build number, is my voice clear?
Yes, sir. Sir.
Yeah, inside build number on this particular area, you just tap for 7 more times. You just continuously touch for 7 more times. It enters into the developer option. ఇది మీకు ఇనిషియల్గా ఇది కనపడదమ్మా మీకు. So whenever you touch continuously for 7 more times, it enables the developer or debugging mode. ఇది మీకు ఓపెన్ అవుతుంది అప్పుడు. So we need to enable this option, USB debugging mode. 1 second. చెప్పమ్మా.
మీ సిగ్నేచర్ కావాలి.
So whenever you tap continuously for 7 times, your mobile turns into developer option. There you can find debugging, and you need to enable this debugging mode. Now your mobile will turn just like a emulator, where you can deploy your application directly on your mobile instead of emulator. So we need to enable. The system will give you some warning message. USB debugging is intended for development purposes only. సో ఇంతవరకు మీ మొబైల్ అనేది జస్ట్ ఫర్ యూసేజ్ పర్పస్, వాట్ ఎవర్ ద అప్లికేషన్ దేర్ యూ ఆర్ ఇన్స్టాలింగ్ అండ్ యూజింగ్. బట్ నౌ ఆన్వర్డ్స్ యువర్ మొబైల్ విల్ బి టర్న్ ఇన్ టు డెవలప్మెంట్ పర్పస్. You enable this okay and make use of that one, right? So these are the information we need to take care whenever you are make your mobile as a developer option. By using this, enter into the settings, and inside about phone there you can find a build number. On that, try to touch 7 more times, and automatically it turns into developer options. In that we need to enable debug option, USB debug option. Now your mobile turns into development purpose. You can connect your mobile to the Android Studio, and you deploy directly the application onto your mobile. Okay, Namma. So before doing this, you have to ensure that all the passwords, all the settings, everything will be resetted. మీరు ఇంతవరకు పెట్టుకున్న చిన్న చిన్న పాస్వర్డ్స్ అన్నీ రీసెట్ అయిపోతాయి అమ్మా. సో యూ ప్లీజ్ ఎన్ష్యూర్ దట్ ఇఫ్ before just enabling your device into debugging mode. So using Windows, ఇది కూడా ఒకసారి చదవండి. Just download ADB zip file and extract. It shows in the form of ADB and where exactly it is there. You just enable by means of command prompt only, and next we need to connect your mobile in the form of MTP protocol. ఇది మీకు అడుగుతుంది కదా, మొబైల్ కనెక్ట్ చేస్తేనే whether you want to connect either which mode, file transfer mode, MTP mode or OEM mode and so on. You make this one as MTP mode and enter into the command mode and start typing the commands, right? So it'll open అవుతుంది మనకి. You just download appropriate ADB file. If it is not available in your system, which automatically comes along with SDK, if it is not available, try to download and store somewhere else in that, and you enable that one. You open that particular file in the form of command mode, right, and launch your mobile. So while moving to command mode and try to connect, whenever you connect your mobile, the system will ask you which mode you are supposed to connect. Use file transfer mode in the form of MTP and move into that particular thing, right? You got pictures unde chudamma. If thing is not available, think that if your mobile or your Android SDK doesn't have USB driver, so we need to go for and we need to install this particular driver, right? So అది USB driver ఉంటేనే your mobile, we can connect your mobile by means of USB cable. Check in, please ensure that this particular driver is exist or not. If it is not, you please install again by enabling that particular USB driver. You check here and go for installing the packages. And once it is open, there you can find all this information. In the left side you can find all our applications. It shows all the applications, and here we are having one is Android, another one is the target. So move to the target option. So the system will choose these emulator automatically. But if you want to choose an emulator manually, we need to make this one as the first option, always prompt to pick device. So it shows automatically pick the compatible device. So usually we come across what you can say, the emulator which comes automatically by means of like this. So మనం ఒక emulator ని క్రియేట్ చేసేసుకున్నాం, ఆ emulator తో మనం రన్ చేసుకుంటూ వెళ్ళాం. So this usually happen here. But if you want to, the system has to ask whether you want to use existing emulators or whether you want to use a mobile as a testing purpose. So at the time we just enable this manual information. So always prompt to pick up device and ensure that this checkbox radio button, and you need to find appropriate information inside the list and run. ఇది కొంచెం మీకు అర్థం కానట్లే ఉంటుందమ్మా. నథింగ్ కాంప్లికేటెడ్ హియర్. Usually we are using emulators for our testing purpose. If you want to use your own mobile is for development, testing purpose. So at the time we need to launch all the compatible devices into this, right? And we need to choose appropriate device and run that one. So now the mobile will turn as emulator now. See here one more picture. So whenever you enable this, the system, the mobile information will be shown in the screen. You click on that and click OK. Now that becomes your testing device. So whatever the application you are running in, that output will be directly transferred to your mobile. Now your mobile will show you output instead of emulator. Clear, Amma? So nothing complicated here. Only thing we need to remember what is ADB, how you are going to be installed, and whenever you are making your device or a handset as a output purpose, as a testing purpose. For that we need to move into the debug configuration mode, and there we can find, the only thing is first we need to ensure whether the driver is exist or not. If it is available, okay, no issues, you can move to the next. If it is not available, try to install appropriate package. Next is, so choose the target where you are going to be deploy your project. So choose the target. In the left side we can find all the application, all the projects, right? So choose the target. The target will look like this. So here choose appropriately the first option. Always prompt to pick a device. Inside, try to find. So once you connected, the system will show you appropriate the device information. So the device we need to enable as a AVD and go for click the button and run the application. Now instead of deploying our output or project output on an emulator, we can deploy the same by means of a mobile or handset. So this is the information and I'll show you practically once we enter into the college, or else if you have you take the support of this and we can practice.
ఏమన్నంటే మార్క్స్
1 second amma, 1 second. Come back. This is all about this information. I'll show you a simple application. Am I clear? Hello.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It's all theoretical representation, but it is a practical approach only when you are in the lab. I'll show you practically, nothing more. You can see all the screens what I am showing on your mobiles. But whenever you are trying, better try to know what happened and just try. Nothing will happen. Only thing the mobile turns into debugging mode and we can happily connect to the laptop and we can deploy directly the project output on your mobiles. So here a simple application is there. Just go through this first. Here I am making this layout as a relative layout. The only difference between different like table layout, grid layout like that already we come across in Java. Here also the same one is relative layout. The relative layout will maintain the relation between to the screen coordinates like left position, right position, bottom, and also it maintains the relation between the existing controls. It shows the output lines like this. Whenever you drag, it shows the outputs like this. I'll show you. So like that. So the button, is it visible, Amma? I'll show you a little bit bigger. So here the button
sir.
is, which is connected to this text box. This text box is connected to this text view. This text view is how far from the left bottom and how far from the right bottom. Are you able to see the numbers 197, 53, 72 and so on? Ma కనబడుతుందా?
Yes, sir.
So everything is related. If you drag, the relation is going to be maintained continuously, right? So how far this is left of text view, the button is bottom of this edit text box and so on. Such relations we can write like this. So this is the advantage of relative layout. So first define the schema and mention the width and height based on the match parent and match parent. So you are taking exact the scale of the parent, I mean the total coordinate system of your device, and inside I define one text box first. So usually every control will have one ID. So try to identify the text view or edit text or button, whatever the control you are supposed to use, you should recognize by means of its own ID, right? So here the text view 1 is going to be identified with text view 1, which is defined inside ID. So that is there inside system in the form of a variable, right? So you are defining a name in the form of ID, the system will be generates. Next one is width and height is the wrap content. So how much take the length is going to be take, that much is going to be wrap, right? So what is the name of that much information is going to be fixed on the screen. And next one is try to understand Android followed by layout align parent left. So you are assigning that particular text view left true and the top true. How far? This is based on the alignment of the parent. The size is 20 static pixels and the margin is left side is 20 dp and top is 197 dp. ఇవి మనకు కనబడుతుంది చూడండి, 197 and the left is 20. ఇది కనబడుతుంటుంది మీకు. So how far from top, how far from left, and also maintaining a relation between what you can say parent left and top. This is about the first. The second button చూడండి immediately. So you are defining ID for this particular thing. So IDs are going to be recognized and referred by means of r.id dot from the Java file to XML file. So this is a mapping done automatically, right? So we need to mention explicitly r.id dot textview1 or whatever the name you are assigning here. And next one is width and height you are representing based on the wrap content, whatever the name you are assigning to that. Next one is you are assigning align top. సో టాప్లో ఏముంటుంది మనకి టెక్స్ట్ వ్యూ 1 ఉంటుంది, లెఫ్ట్ ఏముంటుంది ఎంత డిస్టెన్స్లో లెఫ్ట్ ఉంది, రైట్ సైడ్ ఏముంటుంది రైట్ సైడ్ ఏముందో చెప్తుంది అది. సో హియర్ యు ఆర్ మెజరింగ్ ద పొజిషన్ అండ్ ఆల్సో వేర్ ఇట్ ఈస్, లెఫ్ట్ సైడ్ ఏముంది రైట్ సైడ్ ఏముంది అన్నీ మనకు చెప్పుకుంటూ వెళ్తుంది. సో దిస్ ఈస్ ద టెక్స్ట్ బాక్స్. సో బేస్డ్ ఆన్ దట్ యు ఆర్ రిప్రజెంటింగ్. ఇది కొంచెం ప్రాక్టీస్ అవుతుందమ్మా, బట్ ద సిస్టమ్ విల్ గివ్ యూ ఆల్ ద ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్. ఓన్లీ థింగ్ వీ నీడ్ టు నో whether you are writing margin to left or right or top or bottom, whether you are fixing to the control or not, right? So manam text edit text ni ekkada fix chestunnam manam. So this is edit text box, this is the text box, this is the left em undi. Next button ku vachinappudu bottom lo em undo manaku cheptundi adi. So left em undi manaki, so left side em undi text view 1 undi ante text box label undi manaki, right? So top lo em undi enta distance lo undi top, the top is 50. So ఈ పొజిషన్ కి 53 పిక్సెల్స్ పొజిషన్ టాప్ లో ఉంది. సో యూ whenever you just see physically all things will be appear. ఇక్కడ కనబడతాయి చూడండి, నంబర్స్ అన్ని కనబడుతుంటాయి. కనబడుతున్నాయమ్మా? Can anyone unmute and speak? This is about edit text. So ఇక్కడ నేను ఏం చేయాలనుకున్నాను అంటే I want to read a name. So first దాంట్లో ఏం చేయాలనుకున్నాను, I want to show some name, some label, some static text. Here I am reading a name from the user. Edit text is for text box purpose where I can enter a name. Next ఏం చేసినాను, ఒక బటన్ క్రియేట్ చేసినాను. బటన్ ఎక్కడ క్రియేట్ చేసినాం, బాటమ్ ఆఫ్. సో బిలో ఆఫ్ ఇక్కడ చూడండి మార్జిన్ టాప్. నెక్స్ట్ వన్ ఈస్ బిలో ఆఫ్, ఒక 5 minutes. సో బిలో ఆఫ్ text box, left of text box, right top ఎంత ఉంది 72 పిక్సెల్ ఉంది అది. ద నేమ్ ఏం పెట్టినాను ఇక్కడ, క్లిక్ అని పెట్టుకున్నాను. ద నేమ్ ఈస్ క్లిక్ హియర్. అండ్ వన్ మోర్ టెక్స్ట్ బాక్స్ విచ్ ఈస్ నాట్ విజిబుల్ రైట్ నౌ. వన్స్ ద అప్లికేషన్ ఈస్ రన్నింగ్ ఇట్ షోస్ అప్రోప్రియేట్ ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్. సో ఇక్కడ ఏం చేసినాను, ఇక్కడ ఇట్ ఈస్ మెయింటైన్ అలైన్ లెఫ్ట్ టెక్స్ట్ వ్యూ 1 లెఫ్ట్ పెట్టినాను, బాటంలో ట్రూ పెట్టేసినాను, కంప్లీట్ బాటంకి వెళ్ళిపోతుంది. సో మార్జిన్ బాటమ్ ఎంత ఉందంటే 96 dp పెట్టుకున్నాను దాని యొక్క మార్జిన్ బాటమ్ నుంచి. సో దాని యొక్క సైజు 50 పిక్సెల్ పెట్టుకున్నాను. I would like to show in a bigger form, right? So next is this is all about the information related to this. So first text view is for showing a name on the screen. The second edit box is which is used to read a name from the user, and button, whenever you click the button I need to do some action. So next to last text view is the static information which is used to show something on the screen. అంటే నేను ఇచ్చిన నేమ్ని పెద్దగా చూపించాలనుకున్నాను, లైక్ షోయింగ్ వెల్కమ్ ఫాలోడ్ బై ద నేమ్ వెల్కమ్ మహేష్, లైక్ దట్. సో దీస్ ఆర్ ద ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్, దీస్ ఆర్ ద డిజైన్ డన్ బై మీన్స్ ఆఫ్ XML ఫైల్. ఇట్లా ఉంటుంది మనకి. అది ఇక్కడ బాటంలో మనకి ఏం కనబడదమ్మా. ఎప్పుడు కనబడుతుంది అంటే మనం రన్ చేసినప్పుడు మాత్రమే కనబడుతుంది అది. I make this one as visible at the time of running the application. So this is the design done inside XML file, and come to the Java file. It's very simple. So for that I took two text views. ఇక్కడ రెండు లేబుల్స్ వాడుకున్నాను టెక్స్ట్ వ్యూస్తో. T1 T2 పడుకున్నాను. ఒక బటన్ రాసుకున్నాను B1 అని, ఒక ఎడిట్ టెక్స్ట్ రాసుకున్నాను. టెక్స్ట్ బాక్స్ అంటాం ఇక్కడ మామూలుగా. హియర్ we can call it as edit text. I can make this. Is my screen visible?
Sir. Yes, sir.
అమ్మా ఒక 2 minutes అమ్మా, క్లాస్ ఉంది. సెండ్ చేసి వస్తుంది సెషన్ మాట్లాడుతుంది. అంత ఈజీగా సైన్ చేసే పడితే ఎంతసేపు నిలబడుకుంటానా? ఆయన చెప్పకుండా నా కాడికి ఎందుకు పంపిస్తున్నాడు చెప్పు. ఇప్పుడు ఆయననా పర్మిషన్ ఇవ్వాల్సింది నేను? నా దగ్గరకు పంపిస్తున్నట్టే అదే రీజన్ అదే అమ్మా. ఒక 2 నిమిషాలు అమ్మ ఫినిష్ చేస్తాను అమ్మా. ఈజ్ మై స్క్రీన్ విజిబుల్? అమ్మా స్క్రీన్ కనబడుతుందా?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'll end the session. Power is fluctuating here. So here I took two text views, two labels here, one button and one text box. So here the labels are represented as text views, and button is with the name of button, and edit text are in the with the name of edit text. So these are the classes here. We need to create one instances for all these. And next one is for T1 and T2. I took the references from the XML file by means of r.id.textview1. The text one which is represented or maintained by means of the first text box in the form of text view 1, and the second one is text view 2. So don't confuse. So these are the references which are mapped by means of Java to XML with the name of find view by ID method. So here I am going to be referred or mapping with the which is referred by the XML file which are inside Java file by means of T1. Now T1 is able to communicate with the text view 1 and T2 is able to communicate with text view 2. So these are defined inside XML file, but these are defined inside Java file. Like that I created one button B1 and one text box or edit text with the name of E. All are having or all are referring the XML file. So here I represented initially the text 1 with the name of enter your name. The information will be available on the screen. The text 1 is setted with enter your name, and I just mention one set on click listener. So we will discuss again later the listeners and all. If you are having an idea on Java, the same scenario happens here. Whenever you click on any button, the button will have on click listener, right? So it entered into the on click listener mode. So whenever you click a button, the system will invoke the listener on click listener. So inside I just mentioned whatever there inside the text box, edit text box, text box, that information will be stored inside ES. Say for example, I entered a name here. So inside here enter name, here inside text box, I would like to enter a name. That name is going to be received by means of S. That S is going to be shown along with a welcome message. Welcome followed by the name what you entered in the form of text box. So this will be done whenever you click the button on click button. So button manam click chestane the system will generate take the value from the edit text box and store inside yes, and that is going to be concatenated with welcome message and show it on the screen by means of a method get time format Android, which is the user defined method. I define myself here in the form of this. So here I just show the message on the screen in the form of text view 2. Not only that, I can also show one more information based on the time of the system. I can say good morning, good afternoon, evening, night, and so on. So how I can get the value? So that I can get by means of a calendar class with the name of C, and I can get the by means of calendar hour of day. Discuss just remember. So based on the C value generated, this and store inside time of day. Based on the time, I can say whether it is a range of 0 to 12, I can say like this, and 12 to 16, I can say like this, and so on. So these are the toast messages. I'll show you again one more example how toast message will be shown on the screen. So whenever you run the application, the system will take default emulator in the form of Pixel 2 API 30 and run for us. The emulator will be look like this. Right? So here, one second. So it shows like this. It shows in the form of text view 1 or text view 1, enter your name, and the text box here, you can say anything here. Say, for example, I can mention Mahesh. Automatically the text keypad is going to be shown as usual like your mobile, and you can type there itself. So once you click, the listeners or action is going to be takes place here. So whenever you click, it shows appropriate information on the screen, and one more information will be shown here. Good afternoon, Mahesh, like that. So whatever the name will be received in the form of text box will be shown again based on the time. This is the one example which is there in our syllabus. So here I took two text views, two labels. One is for showing statically on the screen, enter your name, Another one is showing in the form of welcome followed by the name entered in the form of text box. And the button which is either to generate and accept the value from the user in the form of text box and reproduce in the form of label text view, and also shows a toast message on the screen. The toast in the sense it shows a little bit time on the screen, very short. Right, so whenever you delete any file, whenever you certain actions, the toast message will be appear in the bottom of the screen. That things done are generated by means of toast. I'll show you again later, and if you have any issues, you may please unmute and speak. This is a simple example. I'll forward the same to you later. Any doubt in this? Requires practice. Some bit confusion will be there. Why? Because I am moving one screen to another screen and so showing all those. It gives you a little bit confused, but it needs a practice. With the practice, you can feel